Today, we are gonna whip up a quick fix weeknight dinner that screams fall. It's pork chops with sauteed apples, little bits of bacon, all coated in a cinnamony, sticky sweet sauce. So we're gonna kick off the recipe with the apples. You're gonna want 2 firm, tart apples. I'm using Honeycrisp today. They are my favorite. We're gonna peel these apples, and I found the easiest way to cut an apple is to quarter it and then lay those quarters flat side down and cut them into thin slices. The next ingredient we're bringing in is the bacon. You're gonna want 4 slices of thick cut bacon. I'm just laying it in a stack down here on my cutting board. Now I'm gonna come in and cut it in half crosswise. Then I'll cut it down the center lengthwise and then into nice little dices. Here I have 4 boneless pork chops. We're gonna start prepping them by patting them dry with a paper towel. Patting dry the exterior of the pork chops serves 2 purposes. 1, it's gonna help us to get a better sear on those chops, and 2, it's gonna help both the oil and the seasoning to stick. Just gonna drizzle with a scant tablespoon of oil, rub it in. And now I'm just gonna sprinkle the pork chops with a seasoning mix. This is 1½ teaspoon of kosher salt, a ½ teaspoon of black pepper, a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder, and a ¼ teaspoon of onion powder. I like to mix it up, and then I just sprinkle the whole thing over the top of the chops, turn it, and keep going. So that's it for the prep. Now we're gonna move the recipe over to the stovetop. The bacon goes in first. We're gonna cook that until it's nice and crispy, about 6 to 8 minutes. Then we're gonna remove the bacon with a slotted spoon, and we're gonna add in the pork chops. Now the pork chops are gonna soak up all of that delicious bacony flavor left behind. We're gonna cook the chops for just a couple minutes on each side. Your cook time will depend on how thick your pork chops are. On average, we're talking 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Now the pork chops are gonna go out and the apples are gonna go in. And now the apples are gonna start taking up all that delicious flavor left behind from both the bacon and the pork chops. So we're gonna cook these apples until they're softened, anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to add in the rest of the ingredients. We're gonna add a ¼ cup of light brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of dried sage, a ½ teaspoon of ground ginger, a ½ teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a pinch of allspice, and a pinch of kosher salt. Just stir that around until it coats the apples, and now we're gonna let it get nice and bubbly. Everything's all finished cooking. Now all that's left is to bring it together. I'm just gonna spoon these sticky sweet apples right over the top of each chop. A nice big spoonful or 2 going over each. And then to finish it off, sprinkle that bacon right over the top. It's a lot of brown, but it is a lot of flavor. Want more comfort food? Be sure to check out my fall recipes playlist next.